Jamaica is not a large country by land area. It covers just under 11,000 square kilometers, making it the third largest island in the Greater Antilles, behind Cuba and Hispaniola. But its cultural reach is far larger than its map size suggests. This Caribbean island has shaped global music, religion, sport, language, food, tourism, and ideas of resistance and identity. It is home to about 2.8 million people, yet Jamaican influence can be heard in clubs, stadiums, fashion, films, and protest movements around the world. That contrast is the key to understanding Jamaica, a relatively small island with an unusually loud global voice. Its story begins with geography, but it quickly expands into conquest, slavery, independence, migration, creativity, and survival. Geographically, Jamaica sits in a strategic position in the Caribbean Sea. It lies south of Cuba, west of Hispaniola, and southeast of the Cayman Islands. This location placed it near major sea routes that connected the Americas, Europe, and Africa during the colonial era. Its mountains, coastlines, and natural harbors shaped where people settled and how the island developed. Kingston, the capital and largest city, became a major center of government, trade, culture, and music. Jamaica's landscape is often imagined through beaches and resorts, but the island is also defined by rugged interior mountains, fertile valleys, and communities far from the tourist coastline. This physical diversity helped shape distinct local cultures, patterns of farming, and forms of resistance throughout Jamaican history. Before European colonization, Jamaica was inhabited by indigenous peoples, including the Siboney and later Taino-speaking communities often associated with the wider indigenous Caribbean. Their lives were built around farming, fishing, village networks, and relationships with the land and sea. This world changed dramatically after Christopher Columbus arrived in 1494, claiming the island for Spain. Spanish rule brought violence, forced labor, disease, and social disruption. Many indigenous people were killed, displaced, or died from introduced diseases to which they had little immunity. The indigenous presence was not simply erased in a single moment, but Spanish colonization devastated existing societies and transformed the island's population. This early period established a pattern that would continue for centuries. Jamaica's wealth and strategic value would be pursued by empires at enormous human cost. Under Spanish control, Jamaica was known as Santiago, but it was never Spain's richest Caribbean possession. Even so, the Spanish brought enslaved Africans to the island, beginning a demographic and cultural transformation that would define Jamaica's future. In 1655, England seized the island from Spain, and Jamaica became part of the expanding British colonial world. The English name, Jamaica, came to represent not only a place, but a plantation colony at the center of Atlantic commerce. The island's location made it valuable for trade and military power, while its land was turned increasingly toward export agriculture. British control did not simply change the flag over the island. It reorganized Jamaica's economy, labor system, law, and society around one of the most brutal institutions in modern history, plantation slavery. Jamaica became one of the British Empire's most important sugar colonies. Sugar was incredibly profitable in Europe, but producing it required harsh labor in dangerous conditions. Plantation owners depended on the forced labor of enslaved Africans and their descendants, who worked under violent control systems designed to maximize output and suppress rebellion. The wealth generated from Jamaican sugar helped enrich colonial elites and the wider British Atlantic economy, while enslaved people endured family separation, punishment, disease, and exploitation. Yet enslaved Africans were never passive. They preserved languages, spiritual practices, food traditions, music, and systems of mutual support. Some resisted through everyday acts of defiance, others escaped into the mountains and formed maroon communities. Jamaica's culture was forged not only by oppression, but by survival and resistance. Slavery was formally abolished in the British Empire in the 1830s, and full emancipation came in Jamaica in 1838. But freedom did not mean equality. Formerly enslaved people faced limited land access, low wages, political exclusion, and pressure to keep working on plantations. Many chose subsistence farming instead, building independent rural communities where they could control their own labor and family life. Plantation owners, struggling to maintain their workforce, supported the importation of indentured laborers from places such as India and China beginning in the 1840s. This added new layers to Jamaican society. Today, while most Jamaicans are of sub-Saharan African ancestry, the island also has communities with European, Chinese, Indian, Lebanese, and mixed heritage. Jamaican identity emerged from this complex history of violence, migration, adaptation, and cultural blending. Jamaica remained under British rule for more than 3 centuries, but the 20th century brought stronger movements for self-government and national independence. Labor unrest, political organizing, trade unions, and anti-colonial ideas helped push the island toward greater control over its own affairs. On August 6, 1962, Jamaica became independent from the United Kingdom. Independence did not erase the legacies of colonialism, but it gave Jamaicans the power to define their own political future on the world stage. The new nation inherited deep inequalities, but also a powerful sense of cultural confidence. Its flag, with black, green, and gold, came to symbolize hardship, land, sunlight, and hope. Independence became not just a constitutional event, but a statement that Jamaica would no longer be governed as someone else's possession. Modern Jamaica is a parliamentary constitutional monarchy. That means it has an elected political system, while also remaining a Commonwealth realm with the British monarch as its ceremonial head of state. The Parliament of Jamaica has 2 chambers, an appointed Senate and a directly elected House of Representatives. Real executive power is exercised through the Jamaican government, led by the Prime Minister. Andrew Holness has served as Prime Minister since March 2016. The monarch is represented in Jamaica by a Governor-General, a role held by Patrick Allen since 2009. This system reflects Jamaica's colonial inheritance and post-independence political development. At the same time, debates over republicanism and full symbolic separation from the monarchy continue to appear in public life, as Jamaicans consider how best to express sovereignty in the modern era. Jamaica's economy today is classified as upper-middle income, but it faces major challenges as well as strengths. Tourism is one of its most important industries, with millions of visitors arriving in an average year. Resorts, beaches, cruise ships, music festivals, and heritage sites all help bring foreign exchange and employment. But tourism can also create dependence on global travel trends, external investment, and coastal development that does not always benefit all communities equally. Beyond tourism, Jamaica has relied on sectors such as agriculture, mining, services, and remittances from Jamaicans abroad. Economic life on the island is closely connected to migration. Since the 1960s, many Jamaicans have left for work in countries such as Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States, creating a large and influential diaspora. The Jamaican diaspora is one reason the island's influence feels so global. Jamaican communities abroad have carried food, music, language, religion, politics, and style into major cities such as London, Toronto, New York, and Miami. These communities are not separate from Jamaica, they remain connected through family networks, remittances, travel, media, and cultural exchange. Migration has also shaped how the world hears. Jamaican voices. Jamaican English and Jamaican patois have influenced music, slang, and urban culture far beyond the Caribbean. Diaspora communities helped spread reggae, dancehall, sound system culture, and Rastafari ideas internationally. At the same time, migration has often been driven by economic pressure, limited opportunities, and the search for work. The diaspora is therefore both a success story of cultural expansion and a reminder of the island's economic challenges. Jamaica's cultural power is perhaps most visible in music. The island gave the world ska, rocksteady, reggae, dub, and dancehall genres that reshaped global sound. Reggae became internationally famous through artists such as Bob Marley, but it emerged from deeper social realities: poverty, spirituality, political struggle and the search for dignity. Rastafari, a religious and cultural movement that developed in Jamaica, also became globally recognized through reggae's spread. Its symbols, language, and ideas about African identity, liberation, and resistance reached audiences far beyond the island. Dub influenced electronic music and remix culture. Dancehall shaped hip-hop, pop, Afrobeats, and global club music. Jamaica's recording studios, sound systems, and street dances created innovations that traveled across oceans. Few countries have contributed so much to the world's musical vocabulary. Jamaica is also internationally prominent in sport, especially cricket, sprinting, and athletics. Its sprinters have repeatedly dominated global competitions, turning the island into a symbol of speed and excellence. Athletes such as Usain Bolt made Jamaica instantly recognizable to billions of viewers, but the country's track success comes from school competitions, coaching traditions, national pride, and intense local support for athletics. Cricket also connects Jamaica to the wider Anglophone Caribbean and the history of the British Empire, while giving the region another stage for identity and competition. Taken together, Jamaica's story explains why it is sometimes described as one of the world's least populous cultural superpowers. Its land area is modest, its population is not huge, but its impact is enormous. Jamaica shows how history, struggle, creativity, and confidence can make a small island resonate around the world. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.